Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join me as we explore Southwest's lost historical characters, stunning desert vistas, forgotten Native American history, or tales of lost gold mines. There's always something new to discover. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our latest desert adventures. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. Sit back and enjoy. Welcome to Southwest Desert, the channel that uncovers forgotten tales from the Southwest Desert past. Today, we're delving into a mystery that has captivated prospectors and adventure seekers for over a century: the lost mine of Coconino. Nestled somewhere in the rugged canyons of northern Arizona lies a secret that has eluded treasure hunters for generations. A fabled gold mine, said to be rich beyond imagination, hidden within an abandoned village lost to time. This is the story of the lost mine of Coconino, a tale of discovery, greed, and the unforgiving wilderness of the American Southwest. Our story begins in 1853, when a man named Cliff Haines stumbled upon something extraordinary. Haines, a prospector fleeing from hostile Hualpai Native Americans, rode his exhausted horse around a bend and into a wide canyon. What he saw next would become the stuff of legend. Imagine Haines' astonishment as he gazed upon a small village, seemingly sprung from nowhere in the Arizona wilderness. Log and stone buildings lined a crude road. Wooden carts, warped by the sun, stood abandoned. And there, in the west wall of the canyon, Haines saw something that made his heart race: tunnels, mining tunnels with ore dumps spilling from their mouths. For a moment, Haines must have thought he'd found a thriving settlement. But as he approached, the eerie silence told a different story. No voices called out. No people moved about. Shrubs and small trees had reclaimed the paths. This was no ordinary village. It was a ghost town, long abandoned by its inhabitants. Haines's discovery was short-lived. As he explored the ruins, he spotted the painted face of a Hualpai warrior watching him from the canyon rim. The chase was on once again. Haines spurred his horse down the canyon, narrowly escaping his pursuers. 3 weeks later, he arrived in Tucson with an incredible tale to tell. Little did Haines know that his chance encounter would spark a gold rush mystery that continues to this day. The lost mine of Coconino, sometimes called the Lost City of Coconino County, has become the stuff of legend among prospectors in the Southwest. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman Alan for another lost gold adventure. If you would like to help support my channel and time, hit the super thanks heart icon on the bottom of the video and contribute. This is very helpful. Relax and enjoy. But where did this mysterious mine come from? To answer that, we need to go back even further in time, to the year 1583. According to the legend passed down through generations of prospectors, the story begins with the expedition of Antonio de Espejo. In 1583, some of Espejo's men allegedly discovered gold in what is now northern Arizona. They were exploring the Verde Valley and had just named Oak Creek Canyon the Canyon of the Grapes. The story goes that these Spanish explorers took ore samples and drew maps, which eventually found their way into the hands of the church in Mexico. Fast forward a few decades to the early 1600s, and another exploring party ventured north, specifically seeking out this rich gold deposit. Over the next century, the mine's history becomes murky. Wars in Europe, conflicts with native peoples, and political upheavals in Mexico all conspired to keep the mine's location a closely guarded secret. But in the early 1700s, the saga takes an intriguing turn. Around 1720, so the story goes, a group of priests, accompanied by soldiers and a few Spanish families, brought 200 Opata Native Americans from Sonora to work the mine. They built a village, constructed arrastras, primitive ore-crushing mills, and began extracting gold in earnest. For the next 40 years, the mine was worked intermittently. During quiet periods, a few Opata families would remain as caretakers, living in simple brush shelters rather than the more permanent buildings. But then, sometime around 1760, the mine was abandoned. The reason? Lost to history. What happened to the gold bars produced there, supposedly transported by burro to Mexico City, but no one knows for sure. The mine and its village faded into legend, waiting to be rediscovered. Fast forward again to 1874. Enter John Thomas Squires, a hardy adventurer from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Squires led a party of prospectors into the Arizona wilderness, armed with a map said to have been drawn at Cliff Haines' direction. After a summer of searching, Squires claimed to have found not only the lost village but also a nearby cave containing rusted Spanish weapons, cowhide trunks, and leather sacks filled with ore. Squires and his men set to work, repairing the old tunnels and arrastras. They cleaned out two of the largest buildings and began extracting gold once again. Squires even traveled to Santa Fe to sell gold bars and recruit more miners. But their success was short-lived. One cold morning at dawn, disaster struck. The camp was attacked by a coalition of hostile tribes, renegade Mojaves, Walpais, and the feared Apaches. Half of Squires' party was killed before they could even saddle their horses. The survivors fled down the canyon, some struck by arrows as they ran. Squires himself was away from camp during the attack. He escaped but is said to have met his end in a feud in Taos not long after. Once again, the lost mine of Coconino faded into obscurity. For decades, the mine remained hidden. Then, in 1896, a new character entered our story. Howard, known to the folks in Flagstaff as Bear Hunter Howard. A former meat hunter for railroad construction crews, stumbled upon the lost mine while exploring new hunting grounds. He investigated the abandoned village and even brought back 2 hide-bound books from the cave near the camp. Excited by his discovery, Howard shared the news with 2 trusted prospector friends. But when he tried to return the following year, he couldn't find the canyon again. Thus began an obsession that would consume the rest of Howard's life. Howard spent years searching for the lost mine, sometimes teaming up with others like Milt Farrell. They quartered the area systematically, convinced that such a methodical approach would eventually lead them back to the elusive canyon. But success remained out of reach. Then, one day, Howard burst into town with exciting news. He claimed to have finally relocated the lost mine, accessing it through a narrow defile to the north. But if he brought out any gold, he kept it a closely guarded secret until his dying day. In the decades that followed, the lost mine of Coconino continued to captivate the imaginations of treasure seekers and adventurers. Numerous expeditions ventured into the wilderness, each convinced they would be the ones to unlock the secret. One of the most intriguing accounts comes from an unlikely source, an Eastern tourist staying at a guest ranch in Oak Creek Canyon. An avid hiker, this unnamed man set out alone with supplies and a camera, heading west from the canyon. 7 days later, he emerged in the village of Perkinsville, miles south of where the lost mine was believed to be. The hiker told a tale of stumbling upon an old, deserted village in a remote canyon after 3 days of walking. While many dismissed his story, after all, the canyons of northern Arizona are dotted with ancient dwellings, the photographs he took told a different story. When these photos were developed, they showed a beautiful canyon setting with standing stone walls in the foreground. One man who had previously visited the lost mine and failed to relocate it was stunned. He recognized the site immediately. Yet even with these tantalizing photographic clues, subsequent expeditions failed to rediscover the lost mine. It seemed that the more evidence surfaced, the more elusive the site became. In 1939, a new lead emerged. Melvin Halliday, a high school student in Flagstaff, discovered an old hide-bound book printed in Spanish. The date inscribed on the title page, 1730. This discovery rekindled interest in the story of Bear Hunter Howard, bringing out two similar books from the cave near the lost mine. Halliday and a friend planned a search for the mine, but World War II intervened. It wasn't until 1946 that Halliday, accompanied by Robert Cahill, finally got the chance to mount an expedition. Their search led them to an intriguing discovery: an old, fallen-in log bridge in an arroyo, miles from any known trail or road. This aligned with John Thomas Squire's account of building such a bridge on the old Spanish trail leading to the lost mine. Halliday and Cahill believed they were on the right track, but the terrain ahead was treacherous, almost impassable in places. Floodwaters had carved deep canyons across the old trail. Without proper supplies and pack animals, they were forced to abandon their search. So why has the lost mine of Coconino proven so difficult to relocate? Even experienced trailsmen, armed with maps and clues, have failed time and time again. The answer may lie in the very nature of the canyon itself. Old-timers in the region speak of blind canyons, hidden valleys so well concealed by the rugged landscape that you could walk within spitting distance of the rim and never know it was there. Dense brush, towering timber, and a maze of rock formations conspire to keep the secret safe. Today, the lost mine of Coconino remains one of the Southwest's most enduring mysteries. It lies somewhere in the extreme southwest corner of Coconino County, in an area roughly bounded by Oak Creek Canyon to the east, Flagstaff-Williams Ash Fork to the north, Drake and U.S. Highway 89 to the west, and the Verde Valley and Perkinsville to the south. This vast, wild country encompasses several thousand square miles of unbroken wilderness. Choked canyons and dense forests create a landscape of matchless beauty and unparalleled difficulty for those seeking hidden treasures. This has been Southwest Desert. Thank you for joining us on this journey into one of America's most enduring mysteries. Until next time, keep exploring, and who knows what hidden histories you might uncover. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.